Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Decoding GRC on the Cyber Podcast brought to you by Swish Cyber. So, today we have our esteemed guest, Sarvikal from Nika, who is a senior security engineer who is going to also share insights and more about the domain of GRC. So, while getting started, let us introduce of what is Swiss to Cyber, what we stand for as an organization, and later on we are going to bring up Vikalp sir on stage. Thank you, and I'll just request a few seconds for me to just present my screen. So, hello everyone, good evening, and we are starting the presentation. So we are Switch to Cyber, not for profit, started last year in 2023, founded by Sir Vikas Singh Yadav, and we are mostly aimed at helping professionals to switch into cybersecurity and also helping cyber enthusiasts start their first careers in cybersecurity. So whether you are a fresher or just a student in your college or university, well, just follow our page and we'll help you land your first job and enrich your cybersecurity knowledge. So, since we are not for profit, all of our services are for free, and currently we do offer a few limited number of services. So, one of them is the first cybersecurity content. We do post on articles and other related cybersecurity resources and carousels to help you enrich your knowledge, get information to help you crack your first interview, and yeah, even cybersecurity awareness and other news. So yeah, secondly, mentorship sessions is something that we offer per month, once a month, and it is mostly aimed at bridging the mentorship gap that exists in our domain. So sometimes we're just confused on where and how we should start our cybersecurity careers based on our unique skill sets. So someone who has seen the big picture, if they become our mentor, that is something helpful. And surely we do offer that service thanks to our esteemed network of cybersecurity professionals who are willing to do that. We do it once a month and do keep your eyes on that. Lastly, the cybersecurity podcast. The cyber podcast is our latest offering and where we bring you insights from the industry, from the security experts straight. So just listen to the podcast passively and I hope you learn a thing or two about that. So without further ado, let's get started to our main event and bring up Sir Vikalp on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sir Vikalp, senior security engineer from ICANN. Good evening, Vikalp sir. Great to have you and looking forward towards a wonderful session today.
Good evening, Shruti. First of all, thank you so much for arranging this nice session and for inviting me. So yeah, happy to join the session and will looking forward.
Thank you, sir. So we do have audience, 6 people, and we hope that it will grow soon. But let us get started with the questions. And the first question of the day that I would love to ask you is obviously about knowing about more about you and how you got yourself started after college and where did you know that yeah, I'm going to get started into cybersecurity and I'm going to go into these specialization. So just your journey from college to starting at GRC at Nika is what we want to know. Thank you, sir.
I did my BTech from UPS University, Dehradun. So, it was a specialized course in cybersecurity and forensics, where we had the courses like your application security to ISO auditing, business continuity management, cloud security, all such like various domains which are part of InfoSec. So yeah, all of these were part of our curriculum. So, and after that, when I joined NICA, so I started my journey as an application security engineer, where I used to perform the BAPT of the assets like the applications, URLs and all of that. This is the frameworks like OS, Top 10, and all. After that, actually at that point of time, we were, like basically starting our program from scratch. So we actually were starting several like projects in GRC as well as on the security operations domain. So like few of the key projects that we actually were started, like one is the vendor risk management, the data protection program, security awareness, as well as the privacy also. So these few of the major programs actually that we sort of started at that point of time. And I've been working for like 3 4 like in these areas in Nika. So yeah, that's pretty much about how I started my journey, like starting from college to then corporate and like till today. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, sir. Well, that was a pretty smooth sail. You were already equipped with the knowledge from your BTech degree, and you just got yourself started at the core position of cybersecurity. And of course, having experience from one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in India at Nika, certainly that does help a lot. So yeah, just getting into more deeper with the questions. You started with application security and you shifted into GRC. Well, that's from tech to something that is not that much tech. So would love to know more about your GRC journey because that's what our episode is about. And we'd love to know some of your responsibilities that you do as your day-to-day job at GRC as a senior security engineer. Thank you, sir.
So first of all, as you mentioned, like from tech to GRC, like I won't actually feel it like from tech to sort of non-tech role. Of course, we can discuss it later, but like it's sort of we cannot tell that it's a sort of non-tech role. But yeah, like to answer your question, like in Nika, as I already mentioned, like I started with vendor risk management. So we have certain policies, procedures around like whenever any new vendor that is onboarded, in our organization, or we start any new integration, new third party integration. So we have certain policies and procedures around the same, like from starting the security assessment, to perform overall due diligence about the vendor. So basically, we touch upon the areas like the cloud security, the incident management, to access controls, application controls, all of that. So we basically we perform the security assessment basis certain frameworks, so that we can manage our program more effectively, and we can align our program to certain industry standards. So that's how we build, and we are actually running our vendor risk management program. So that is one thing which I am majorly looking into. Second, I am looking into the security governance part. So where I am responsible for, sort of managing the entire IT and security risk. So we do have certain procedures around the same, certain governance mechanisms. So basically, we discuss and we advise, as a GRC professional, we advise on sort of the mitigation plans and mitigation controls around the risk. So as I already mentioned, like you you should have some sort of technical knowledge to provide advices and understand the risk more effectively. So yeah, that's sort of something I also look into to manage the overall risk management program. And apart from that, like we have certain documented policies and procedures around the same. So I'm responsible for managing those policies, and just to ensure that all such policies should be adhered to by the employees, by the departments. There shouldn't be any sort of violation, or if there is something, sort of violation, so we do have the procedures around the same, right? Apart from that, since Nika is a public listed company, so we have certain audits as well which happen regularly, like internal audits, external audits also. So those audits were sort of basically based on certain frameworks like NIST, ISO, CIS, and all of that. So I coordinate with the teams and help help organization to effectively perform the security assessments and those assessments based on the industry frameworks to align our overall program basis those frameworks. So yeah, and previously actually I looked into the security awareness part also. So we do have again separate overall procedures and separate training materials also for security awareness. So I also look some part of it. And data protection is also something I look into. Data protection, as in from a technical side, just to ensure to put in the security controls to protect the company's confidential information, the customer's personal information. So I basically look after those controls, reviewing those controls, and sort of continuously monitoring those controls whether that particular control is in place or no. So yeah, these are sort of responsibilities which I am looking into in currently.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was a really comprehensive answer. So, one of the few points that I picked up is that you do deal with frameworks, and also you do face violations, and you have to deal with them. And certainly, you you do not deal with it by yourself. So, do you collaborate with other teams from like the legal team when there is a violation, or you do help out the vendor with their managing of risk with the help of the tech team, or so you do need a collaboration? So I do have like two questions. So it's one, the frameworks that you deal with, and how does the collaboration happen with the tech team who are not maybe that much core into the framework? So this collaboration and the framework thing. Thank you, sir.
Well, so in GRC, collaboration is something which is very, very essential since you are working as a GRC profession, right? So your job is to, plan out the things, plan for the risk mitigation strategies, to plan out the mitigation controls, and how we can put a strong governance around, securing the company's confidential information. So I feel that collaboration is something which is very essential, with different and various departments, like including your engineering teams, your product team, your legal team, HR team, right? Because there are vendors which are being used by various departments. So let's say if there is any risk comes up pertaining to that particular vendor, so obviously we have to collaborate with the business teams to understand the impact and severity if this risk will, if might become an incident. So we have to understand the overall business overall business, why we are what data we are sharing with these vendors. So yeah, all in all, I would say that collaboration is very much important to and again to while collaborating, it is very important to uh, provide or give the risk to the stakeholders in a sort of business language, right? You cannot say that implement this all things in a very technical language, right? You have to make them understand from a business angle, right? What is the risk to the business if I won't put this control to my application, to my any cloud server or any laptop or so, right? What could be the implications, what could be the consequences, right, to my business? So you have to make them understand from a business perspective, right? And that's where I feel that in GRC it is important to collaborate with the people, do networking with the people, understand the overall business process. So yeah, so that is the answer I feel to your question, that collaboration is very essential. And second is regarding the frameworks I mean we use. So we use NIST framework as to align our overall information security program, because that is a worldwide accepted and industry standard and very, very comprehensive framework if you are building your program. Then we also, yeah, we also follow ISO frameworks also, and there is one specific framework, CIS, Center of Security Controls. So that is something we use for certain of our specific assets. So yeah, I mean it's a mix of frameworks that we leverage, and yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well, we do have some more points coming up. So now, just shifting a little bit to something light rather something that's not core into security. So there are many people who are our followers and they do not currently work in tech, and they wonder that, do I need to come from a tech background to get into GRC, or do I, if even if non-tech works? So even for security and especially GRC, what do you feel? Is it a tech or a non-tech field? It's some discussion that we left it in the first initial part. So we would love to know. GRC, tech or non-tech? Even cybersecurity, do you think non-tech people can enter? Or, yeah, thank you.
So, well, I'll first talk about the GRC aspect of cybersecurity. So, again, I mean, like people sometime might think that it's a sort of non-tech role, right? Like technical would be if someone is doing any sort of VAPT activities or cloud related activities, cloud security. But in GRC, people might think that it's sort of non-tech role. But since I have been working in GRC from last 3 4 years, so I feel that technical knowledge is always important. Let's say I'll take an example for my like key area which I work in. One, this is vendor risk management. So let's say if you are doing due diligence of a vendor, right? So if you have the tech knowledge, so you will be better able to judge and better able to understand what kind of controls the vendor has implemented in their infra, right? So once you interview the vendor, once you share some sort of security checklist and they respond back, so you'll be able to understand what kind of controls they have put in into their cloud, into their data centers, into their application, right? Without technical knowledge, it will be a challenge for you. And again, you'll have to discuss with your team or research online, right? Like what is this control about? So I feel that having a technical knowledge is always help, whether you are working in GRC or any other domains like security ops and all. So I feel that it is important to know, and of course that as a GRC professional, as I mentioned, right? So your job is to plan out the things. Your job is to plan some governance strategies, providing advice on the controls which should be implemented to protect company information, creating the policies around the same, creating the procedures around the same, right? So if you have the technical knowledge, so you'll be better advised on the security controls to the teams, to the departments, right? So I mean that's where I feel that like as I work for last 3 4 years in GRC. So again, I'll take one more example, like in data protection, right? So let's say if you have implemented a DLP solution, right? So without having a technical knowledge around the policies which have been implemented, the rule sets and everything, right? So it would be a challenge for you to understand the things. So I mean that's where I feel that technical knowledge is equally important if you are in a GRC field, and obviously like in cybersecurity, though it is very important. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think you answered it totally perfectly. And yeah, we do find a good balance, like the need of a good balance between tech and non tech, understanding people, business, as well as tech to actually be a well rounded cyber professional, if I can put it. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, coming on back to some Indian context, is that we recently, last year, had the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So, has NICA been dealing with that as well? Have you received some exposure? Would love to know a few words about that. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, DPDP. So as since it's an act, right? So the organizations who are dealing with the personal information, so actually they have to comply with this act, right? They don't have any option. It's not like, I mean, I like this framework, or I follow this framework. I follow this framework. It's not like that, right? It's a law. It's an act. You have to follow, because otherwise you'll have to counter and penalty and so. So yes, I mean, as I mentioned that Nika also deals with, as an e-commerce company, like, so Nika also deals with the personal information of customers. So yes, we are basically in a journey to, getting compliant to the DPDP Act. But since I think the draft of the DPDP is there, but the rules are yet to come, and we hope that they will come in the near future. So I think it's still in a sort of journey stage. So yeah, I mean,
Okay, thank you, sir. So we just hope that the DPDP would be implemented in like the upcoming years as it is rolled in phases, and yeah, we'll get to know more about it. So now let's. I just had this one personal question from my side because I'm just not that much acquainted with GRC as well. So have dealt with a few of the frameworks like NIST, ISO, CIS. Now, when the DPDP comes into picture, do you see some differences, or do you feel that all of them have some core values that are remaining the same across all of them?
see, I mean, the basic controls I feel would be the same, right? Right. Let's say, uh, like we can take like implementing the antivirus or EDR solution to the assets, or sort of two-factor authentication on the servers or applications, right? So these are some sort of basic controls. I don't think uh, like after having such laws and acts in place there would be some difference in the security controls, because it talks about the data, right? So I mean, there might be certain additional controls that might come in picture regarding, protection of the personal data, or I would say the sensitive personal data. There might be certain additional questions, additional controls that will come up to get compliance to the to such acts. But I think with regards to the basic controls, I don't feel right now like there would be any sort of difference or in the controls per se. So I mean, organizations, I feel organizations can like keep following these frameworks to strengthen their overall cybersecurity program, because it will eventually help in sort of strengthening their controls, in strengthening their assets, and protecting their personal information which they have. So yeah, I feel they will be pretty much same. And certain additional, as I mentioned, certain additional controls with regards to the PII data might come up. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay, so the frameworks just give the baseline, but the companies can improve by themselves on greater
Of
protections.
course, because it will improve your overall, overall program metrics actually, which you can compare year on year, right? Like last year in 2023, where I am, where was I in 2024? You can compare where I am today, so you can see the difference, right? And you can act upon accordingly, like which are the improvement areas where I have to work on, like which are the key wins for me. So I mean, frameworks of course helps give you that direction and give you that insights about your overall information security program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That was a really good answer. So, talking about improvements, we do have some new player in the market, that is generative AI, that came up like in the last 2 years. So, do you think that GRC jobs will get replaced by AI, or should we fear AI, or AI should be our best friend at our cybersecurity job, or maybe any other job? Any insights from you? Any comments from you? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. So like AI, I won't see AI as something which can, take up the GRC jobs per se, right? Because AI, like in AI, you can leverage it actually, right? You can leverage it to improve your GRC program, right? It, like example could be like, instead of doing certain day-to-day operational task, you can leverage the AI to do that, and focus and align your time, efforts, and resources in creating some sort of a strategic task which can actually improve your GRC program, right? You can, like, which can be enhanced. So I feel like you can leverage actually AI in some sort of ways, like sort of compliance monitoring or automate your task, like in maybe SOC as well, right? You can leverage AI to get automated alerts of your assets which are there, to identify threats and all. So threat monitoring also. So yeah, I feel I won't see, like as I mentioned, I won't see AI is something which can replace GRC. It will actually help to improve your program. And of course, there are things like, as we previously discussed, the collaboration, which is very important in GRC. So I feel that in GRC collaboration, for collaboration, you need some sort of human skills to build that relationship with the departments, right? So I'm sorry. So that's how I look AI as, like, rather than see it as a, like, taking up the GRC job, we can actually leverage it to improve our program and to focus on the strategic task and roadmap activities.
Thank you, sir. That was really assuring answer that AI won't take up my job. That I should not fear
No, no,
my job.
don't worry. It will not take up.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. So now
You
just
can do some smart. You can do certain smart things via AI.
okay, make it my best friend. Okay, thank you, sir. So
Yeah.
and just a question again, a follow-up question. Do you use AI for your work at the company? Something that helps you out with your GRC?
Not for the, I mean, personally, I use AI for certain of my job responsibilities, but I mean, not for the entire organizations. We are like currently using, teams are using for their various activities, but like using AI as a, like as an organization wide currently, no, I don't think that we are using it. But yeah, maybe in near future.
Thank you, sir. And some concerns with security has been there that if you just put out, your sensitive details onto generative AI, that probably would be used for training their LLMs. So yeah, that is something what I would like to contribute to. That yeah, even if you're using generative AI, just be careful that you don't spill out the company secrets. To that.
Of course, I mean, it is that's where is, I feel, a very very essential, like organizations have a sort of mindset that okay, it's fine, we can do awareness activities side by side. Those are not that much important. I mean, generally people have the sort of mindset ki theek hai, we can invest in security awareness. But I feel that in today's world, since the cyber threats and sort of these fraudulent activities, scams are very emerging at a very rapid rate. So I feel awareness among the individuals, like employees and to in our family members also, which you know having social accounts, bank accounts online, they have online presence. So I feel awareness is something which is really really essential, and I focus more on that. So yeah, I mean, like we should take care, like if we are using AI, so we should use it in a way that it can actually help to to improve our program, rather than it sort of creating a risk to our organization. If we put or we provide any sort of internal information to the AI tools to get out the inputs. So I mean, we should not do that. So yeah, I mean, that's why awareness, security awareness, is very very important to implement, to sort of monitor among the employees. And we should have regular training programs and newsletters, activities, all of that.
Thank you, sir. That was a really great answer. And we do have people who are agreeing on the comment section on what you are saying and what we all are mutually agreeing upon. So we do have Sir Aditya Nama who is saying that instead of fearing AI taking over jobs, it's important to embrace its potential and use it in the right way to enhance productivity. Well, that's something that's totally right. We all do agree, and yeah, that's something Vidal sir said as well. And yeah, so the one way to put it is that just make AI your best friend and use it responsibly. Maybe it will help you become a better cybersecurity professional.
Yeah, I mean, of course, so you can leverage it for many of your activities, like including your day-to-day tasks, operational activities, to learn something new. You know, if you have some quick ideas, if you are doing any projects or anything, if you have some, quick questions coming up to your mind, so you can directly ask and it give you, I think, very nice answer. So, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now, the so yeah, the times here are a bit rough these days. So many people are scared about the recession. They say that there's a lack of openings for jobs, especially for freshers. So how do you think recession would impact career switches? People who want to wish into cybersecurity during the recession times. Would love to know your comments. Thank you.
I'm not sure, but I don't think that like such sort of recessions, if such news are already in there in the market, I don't think so. Whether it will be a sort of threat to cybersecurity jobs, because you see, right, like since the cyber threat landscape, which we called as, it's regularly emerging new threats, scams, all such malicious activities are coming up now. The cyber attacks are also very sophisticated in nature. So I don't think whether such sort of recessions or anything like that will impact the cybersecurity job, because it's a need for the organizations today, right? If you look back 3 4 years back or 5 years back, right? So you can actually compare, like the cybersecurity jobs which are there in the market, as if we compare to 2019, 2018 maybe. So you can actually see, like the job market for cybersecurity is in the uptrend actually. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that whether it's a threat, whether such news or such recessions which you are talking about will be a threat to the cybersecurity jobs. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. So for the
because
people who
I
are
because also I also have a point, because now since the cyber attacks are also very sophisticated in nature, right? So companies are also investing their resources and efforts in implementing or creating certain advanced cybersecurity tools, right? So in that sense, you can see, right, like companies are more interested in invest into cybersecurity things. So yeah, that's how I feel.
okay, thank you, sir. So you feel that we just should upskill and make ourselves better to be better at our jobs when there is an opening that suits us. So for someone who is maybe struggling to find a job, do you think they should be more persistent on getting their first cybersecurity job and learning the skills on the spot, or just doing some skills or projects by themselves while they are unable to find a job, just to make them better for the next interview and do some self introspection and improvement? Thank you, sir.
So I see that both the approaches are right, right? There is no right or wrong kind of thing. Like whether if you are doing any job or any internship, you just passed out from the college and recently joined an organization. So there are pros. There is many advantages. Like first is you get to interact with so many professionals inside the organization. You get a business perspective, right? Because in colleges you have projects, but you don't have a business mindset. Like if I am implementing this control, if I am doing this project, what what is the impact on the business, right? How I am basically contributing to the business. You don't have that clarity actually. But while you like when you join an organization, right? So you have a clear goal, clear objective, right? Let's say if I am implementing this control, the objective is to protect the company's information, protect the company's website, companies the in company protect the company's internal application, right? So you have a clear objective in mind while you are working in an organization. And of course collaboration, you get to learn the how you collaborate with the teams. It will actually help in the longer run. So these are like few of the major, I think, advantages when you work in an organization. Second approach, as you mentioned, like if somebody is not working in an organization but doing some side projects or freelancing kind of thing, so that is also very, I mean, good thing to do, right? Because you are learning something, you are creating projects, you are doing some hands-on activities online, or on online labs as well. I mean, you can learn something new, you can create your online portfolio, you can create some projects, or you can outsource it as well, you can publish it, you can create a tool. There are so many things that you can at by following this approach also. So there is no right or wrong thing, like whether I should join an organization or I should start learning myself and do some projects. So both things are good, both have their own advantages. But the common thing is learning, right? So you are learning in both the approaches. That is important to grow.
Thank you, sir. That was a really nice answer. I mean, I can totally relate to that as well. I mean, as myself, a cybersecurity enthusiast as well, just doing the projects and things. I think you bring something more to the table than just your theoretical knowledge. If you bring out projects, if you can show them skills, if you can answer the case-based scenarios that they ask you in interviews, and you can give your points that is based upon your projects with the practical applications, I think the company would definitely know that you can relate the knowledge that you've learned in theory, practiced in practicals, to be applied in real life scenarios that your company would demand at times, in times of need. So, yeah, I do
Right,
agree.
right, exactly.
Thank you, sir. So something that's again a very wide debate. It's a broad debate. I mean, of course, there is no right or wrong answer to this as well. So, do you think certifications are more essential to get better at cybersecurity to crack your first job, or you think it's the skills and the projects that are most needed? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very common question actually. People used to ask like whether I should go for certification or do my own projects on own learning. So again, like my point is like having certification is also good. Like it basically provide you the theoretical and conceptual knowledge about the subject, right? And of course, your resume also looks nice when you have certain certifications. But the thing uh, I feel which is important if you are going for the certification is just that uh, you should know how to implement those things practically, right? So that's where your practical knowledge comes when you are working in an organization. Let's say if you have done any certification and there are certain various guidelines or controls written in that certification. So it would be very helpful actually if you have already implemented those things, right? So let's say if after your college you join an organization, you work for 2 years, 3 years maybe, right, on some various topics like in various domains in GRC or on cloud security, and then you go for certification. So it will actually help you while you will be preparing for the certification. It will actually help you because you will understand the things more, like you will understand the things in depth because you have already working on those things. You have could be set up the server, you have already do some vendor audits, you have implemented a DLP solution, all of that, right? It will actually help you to gain that knowledge. You have already done the work practically. So that's how I feel. I mean, if you have the like practical hands on a subject and then go for a certification, it will actually help. But again, I mean, it's not like it's a sort of written path that you have to do this way. People go for certifications parallelly along with their jobs. So again, the important factor is to learn and implement the things. That is important, because it wouldn't make much sense. Let's say if you go for certification, if you have a list of certifications in your resume, but you are not able to solve a company problem, solve a problem which organization is facing, even a basic problem. You are not able to give the ideas, you are not able to advise on the mitigation controls, you are not able to provide the strategies, what should be our strategies, what governance mechanism I should put, what governance strategies I should follow, all of that, right? If you are not able to provide those insights, those things, right? So I mean, it wouldn't make much sense. I mean, again, it's my perspective. I'm not saying that it is like this is how, but yeah, it is my own perspective, my own opinion, that you should have the practical knowledge first, and then maybe you can go for certification, or parallel. But the important thing is whatever is there, whatever guidelines control is there in the certification, you have that, you have those things done practically, you have the practical idea like how these things will implement in the real world while I'll be working in an organization. You, what would be the challenges, what would be the reporting mechanisms, etc. So it will actually help you to go for certification. So yeah, that's how I feel. I mean,
Thank you, sir. I also second that. That yeah, you need to be able to relate, to translate what you have learned in theory to practical. You need to visualize the theory in the form of the practical to be able to solve a problem. So yeah, ultimately that's what is needed in the real life as well, and I totally agree with that. Now we are coming at the end of the presentation and like our today's podcast. So something that yeah, just something personal, since we do have a little bit of time. Would you have chosen your path for cybersecurity to be different than what you have today, like from VTech to GRC? Maybe if you wanted to like try out some different domains, you wanted to do something else, would love to know something that's personal to you. Like, would you do your life differently if you had a second chance? Thank you, sir.
Uh, I'm not sure like how to answer this question, because uh, it's very fortunate actually for me to when I joined Nika get to get into something which I already studied in my BTech, right? All those things like your application security to IS audits to BCM frameworks, all of that. So I mean, I feel it's a fortunate thing for me to get into something which I've already studied. So I'm not sure. I mean, uh, how 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 can I answer, like if I would have the second chance, whether I will go for cybersecurity or any other domains? Uh, yeah, I'm not sure like
Thank you, sir.
where
Anything that
I
you
would
that you
be, because in
anything?
college, so in college we used to, yeah, in college we used to have certain coding subjects as well, like since it was a part of like security was a part of computer science as a whole, so we do have certain coding subjects as well, where you used to have projects on various languages as well. So could be possible that after my BTech, I would have go into some engineering field or some sort of other fields which requires sort of development and all. But yeah, again, not sure.
Anything that you would suggest having like a good balance of tech, like work, and something that just complements your soul, like some hobby? Do you suggest a work-life balance apart from your cybersecurity job? Something that you personally follow?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like work-life balance is important. I mean, if you are a working professional, so having a good balance in the life, like keeping your physical health, mental health, and all of that balance along with your work. So you should plan out your day, right? Like, uh, how are you working? Like, you should keep the time for your physical health, for your family, for your personal life, right? All of that, because these are very important factors to follow. So yeah, I mean, if you have certain hobbies, maybe you can go for that in your free time. If you are, like to travel, so maybe on weekends, or you can plan tracking all of that. So let's say I used to play guitar, right? This is my hobby, and I do photography also. So like, I in my free time I used to do that stuff to maintain that balance. So you have to keep take care of your health, and physically and mentally, along with your work. So yeah, again, it's also part of maybe your personal job that you have to do, right? To keep yourself fit and healthy. So yeah, that's how I see. This is my approach, I mean, to. And I also request viewers to have again the work life balance in their life, to prioritize the things which are important. So yeah, I mean, that's how I feel.
Thank you, sir. That's really good advice. Apart from the core tech discussions that we had today, so yeah, just do something that makes you you, apart from your cybersecurity job. So yeah, I think this work-life balance is necessary, and sometimes we do feel a lack of it. But yeah, highly encouraged to do that. Now, at the final stages of the interview, we do have a few minutes, and any last words that you would like to share with our viewers related to tech, about life, anything that you want to just convey the message or quote of today. Thank you, sir.
Uh, so I just wanted to say that, let's say, like, I'll talk about the GRC only first. So let's say if someone is, have the interest in cyber field, but again, he he loves public speaking, or I mean, not just public speaking, but he likes to collaborate, or she likes to collaborate with the people, do some sort of management activities, team management, all of that. And sort of he has some interest in legal side, how the companies, legal things, legal teams work. Because in GRC professional, you have to collaborate with the legal teams also, right? So again, I mean, I feel that GRC is something that those professionals can actually look for, because it's a role which require continuous collaboration with the people, and alongside it basically gives you the opportunity to work on the tech side as well, right? Sort of techno managerial role, which we call, I don't know what it is called. But yeah, I mean, if you have interest in technical side also, but you likes to collaborate and work on something, the governance side also. So I mean, GRC is something that you can go for. This is how I see. uh, but again, like, it's my own perspective. That's how I see the things, and this is what I experienced in last 3-4 years when I work on various projects in Nika, because we do have a lot of collaborations, and technical knowledge is also equally important. So, like, from there I feel that it is important, and GRC is something that, uh, if you have interest in these things, you can go for it. And apart from that, I mean, as you already asked the right questions previously about the work life balance, so again, the same answer. I mean, you should take care of your physical and mental health and all of that, to keep yourself fit and healthy, and do some great activities in your personal life as well as in your work life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, So Vikalp sir does highlight that you need the hard skills with the tech knowledge, but you do also need soft skills like public speaking, getting your thought across, getting your message across to the client, even amongst your team. So yeah, it's the cybersecurity and GRC including.
Because yeah, I feel because if you are working as a security consultant, right, you are consulting the companies, you are consulting the clients, right? So it is important to uh, convey about the project, to convey about the controls, to convey about the risk, to convey about all such related things, right, when while you are working as a security consultant. So it is important that, I mean, the tech knowledge and those collaboration skills, those building relationship skills, all of that actually work, actually helps in that way, you know. So it's a sort of mix of things that I see.
So to become a well-rounded professional, you mean you need the hard skills as well as the soft skills, understanding people as well as tech.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I guess we are at the final stages of our decoding GRC with Vikalp sir, brought to you by Swisha Cyber. Well, there are none whatsoever for questions, and maybe we'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes if someone is willing to ask a question. Let's see, up to 9:53, and yeah, we can call it the day, the end of the first episode of the Cyber Podcast with Seshta Cyber. So yeah, to our audience, please feel free to write your questions, or if you have something to share that you want on the comments, and we'll definitely read them and also reflect a bit more upon them during our live discussion, because we are ending the end of today's discussion, nearing the end. Thank you. So yeah, we have not had any questions new in the comment section, but yeah, I guess that is it, and it was a really productive session with you, sir. Thanks to all of our 10 followers who have stayed until the end. And we definitely hope to bring more such insightful discussions in the form of a podcast with other guests, and maybe having Vikalp sir again to our podcast. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Vikalp sir. Hope you have a great evening, and yeah, better upcoming days
Thank you.
for your career.
Thank you so much, Shruti. And I like the way like you ask the questions. Those are, sort of actually help to understand. Like, I mean, viewers also to understand about the GRC. So yeah, I mean, thanks for asking such nice questions, and thanks for arranging it nicely. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aditya, sir, as well as Vaishnavi, ma'am, for engaging with us during the comments. Yeah. So, hope you all have a great night, and wishing you tomorrow a great day ahead, as well as upcoming days for this year. Thank you so much. We hope to bring new people and new discussions in the upcoming month. It's just a start, so we definitely need your support. Keep following Switch to Cyber and engage with us, because we are just a not for profit giving services to help the cybersecurity community, and definitely we need your support. Thank you everyone. So,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.